Hello, everyone. I see a few people hopping on. Good morning, good afternoon. Good afternoon for most of you, I'm sure. Maybe even good evening. How are you all? Let me know who's here, where you're from. Say hi. It's good to be here. I'm sorry I missed last week. I just had too much going on. I was overwhelmed. Oh, maybe I don't have my comments showing. Like, why am I not seeing everyone? Oh, hi, Denise. I didn't have my comment screen open. Oh, goodness. I had to do an update on my software when my phone screen wouldn't work. It's funny, when I plug my phone in, it usually says you need to install something for it to work, but it always works. So I've never bothered installing whatever it was I'm supposed to install. But this morning I just got a black screen when I plugged my phone in, and it's asked me if I told me I needed to install something. So I figured, I better do it. So hopefully it'll work all right. But yeah, I've been just plodding along and it's been working fine. How are you, Denise? So it's a lovely day, a lovely fall day here in Sacramento. It's funny, when I was in Anaheim with some of my team, a couple of my team were saying, it's winter. Hi, Candice. Well, Candy, good to see you. Couple of, when we were having dinner Saturday night, a couple of my team that live locally were saying, it's winter. I'm like, no, it's not winter, it's fall. So it was kind of funny. It was a standing joke. I said, the trees here are all beautiful colors. It's Thanksgiving. It's 60 something degrees during the day. It's not winter. And they were like, yes, but it's getting down to 30 degrees at night. I'm like, no, it's fall. So we were asking everybody, what season is it? And so it was kind of a standing joke, whether it was winter or fall. But anyway, it's a beautiful fall day. Not a cloud in the sky. And I took a picture this morning, actually, when I was coming back from my dog walk, of the trees on our street, because they look so pretty at the moment. So I'll have to post that later. So anyway, hope you're all doing well. I'm back from a fabulous weekend in Anaheim with Stamping Up and a bunch of my team, the Groovy Stampers. So it was really fun. Candy says it's so windy. It'll be surprising if there are any leaves left on the trees. Well, that's one of the things I was saying. I was like, if it was winter, there'd be no leaves on the trees. They'd all be bare, and all the trees look beautiful at the moment. But yeah, I know it's a shame when it's really windy, because then all the leaves end up on the ground sooner than they should. But anyway, we had a fabulous weekend, and I'll show you a few of the things show you some of the swag that we got, and I'll show you the front of the new catalog. I'm not allowed to show you the inside yet, but we have a new catalog that starts in January, and those of us that attended on stage this last weekend, we were lucky enough to get in our hands a copy of the new one and the new celebration brochure. So that was very exciting. And then all the even if you didn't go to on stage, on Monday the new catalogue posted online for demonstrators. So even if you didn't get one in your hands over the weekend, you're able to look at it online and ooh and ah at everything. So that's exciting. But yeah, we did it was lovely to meet, like, Candy, who's on here watching. She's one of my team that I'd never met. She lives in Southern California. I've never met her before, so it was great to meet her. And there were a couple of others that I've seen on Zoom meetings, and we chat on our Facebook page, but I hadn't met before. Hi, Louisa, good to see you. So it's good to see you all. I hope you're all having a good week and maybe doing some crafting. I've ordered a bunch of new products from the new catalogue that I know I don't know why I order them so early. I think it's just because I can and I'm so excited, but I know I won't have any time to play with them yet, so they'll just kind of sit in a box and I'll look at them every now and again and go ooh, ah. And then I think, oh yes, but I need to finish my Christmas cards and all the other things I need to do. So, but I'll show you some of the things we were given. So let me switch you down to my desk. Yeah, it was fun, wasn't it, Candy? It was great fun. All right, what am I doing here? Let me think. Oh, so one of the things I wanted to tell you about before I get started, let me see if I can figure out how to do this real quick, is the seasonal sale. I'll put this on the screen so that you can see. So just for 4 days, so it ends on Friday at midnight, or if you're on the West Coast, it's actually 11 p.m. or 10:59. So there's a seasonal sale. This is just the annual catalogue. So let's see, where is my annual catalogue? I'm probably going to knock something down. I'm trying to do this. Just this catalogue, if you can see underneath there. So 10% off all punches, 15% off all stamps, except the host stamps that are in the very back of the catalogue. 20% off all dies, 20% off all embossing folders, and 20% off all non-specialty and non-assortment designer series papers. So the specialty, the ones that have gold foil and that kind of thing, those are not on sale. And when they say the non-assortment designer series paper, I think they mean the ones that are the 6x6 that come in the color family and the in color. It's a little 6x6 stack, and if you get the color families like the brights, it has 4 different designs, or 2 different designs, double-sided, of every color in a 6x6 stack, and those are not on sale. But good deals, and they said that this is better because it's 15% off all stamps and 20% off all dies. You save more money than if you were just to get a bundle, because you only save 10% then. So this is a good deal. I know I actually got some dies way back a few months ago. We had a stamp sale, do you remember? And I got a couple of stamp sets, but I didn't get the dies. And so like the Lighthouse one and one other one. So I just ordered the dies for those. So I'm saving money on those. And of course, if you're a demonstrator, you get your discount on top of that. So that's a good deal. It just goes till Friday. So, and my host code is up here. I had to do a new host code because I had a big Christmas card class at my house last weekend, or the weekend before last, and I got some orders from that, and I didn't want to hold them up, so I did close out my that host code. So I have a new one that's up here on the screen. I'm giving, for month of November, I'm giving any orders over $50 a wink of Stella that you can use on all your holiday cards and all your holiday projects. Yeah, so a great time. Don't miss out on the sale. It's a good deal. All right, let me close that off. All right, so let me show you a few things that we got on stage. So we got some swag. It's always fun to go and get swag. So we got some stamp sets. So these oh dear, one of which I've just dropped. Hold on a second. Oops, not on my head. Oh my goodness me. So these are 2 that we got in our swag. And let me see, I'm going to turn off that light. And hopefully that's still bright enough. That's my overhead light. So we got these 2 in our, zoom out just a touch. Let me see here if I can zoom out just a little bit. Oops, too much. Yeah, we got these 2 in our when we registered on. I registered on Friday night because I had a leaders event that I went to, and everyone else got there Saturday morning. So I wasn't too sure about this to start with, but I saw it used in lots of samples, and I really like it now. It's really fun. You can do heat embossing with it and then blend over in different colors, and you can do a whole sheet, a whole page, and then cut it up and use little pieces on different cards. So it's really growing on me. When I first looked at it, I was like, I don't know about that, but now it's growing on me, like say. Dear, I'm just trying to get I'm all in a muddle today. Hi, Kristen. Did you hear me talking? We were talking about whether it's fall or winter. I was talking about you. And then this stamp set is from, it's going to be in the new celebration brochure. So we got that. This is a layering, a two-step stamp set. So that's really pretty. It's got some nice fonts. It's shown, they're actually bigger than, the sentiments are bigger than what they are on the front. This is shown at 85%, so they are bigger, but nice mixed fonts. And then as one of our prizes, we all got this stamp set, which I'm really excited to try, decorative borders. I think you could make wreaths, and you could put this in every corner, kind of swags, lots of little things. I think it's going to have lots of uses, and you can color it in. I think it looked pretty heat embossed, so I'm excited to try that. We got some designer series paper too, but I will show you that maybe another time. And then of course we did get our hands on the brand new catalogue. I can't show you inside yet, but this is what it's going to look like. Isn't it beautiful? I'm definitely a purple gal. I love purple, so I was happy to see that. And then this is our new celebration brochure. So this goes live January 4th, I think. I think it's the 4th. And then we got this lovely bag, which is kind of like a, what do you call it? Not a messenger bag. A messenger bag would be bigger, right? But if I can zoom out just a little bit. Yeah, we got this bag, and it's got the Stampin' Up logo on the top, and then inside, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you inside, there's a nice little zippered pouch with the Stampin' Up again, and then on the back it's got a pocket, and so in the pocket was this lovely notepad. Isn't that pretty? It's very sturdy, so that fits in the notepad, in the purse, and then, or whatever you want to call it, and then there's also, let's see if I have it in here, also a pretty pen. It's a heavy, it's really pretty, with Stampin' Up on it. So that was nice. And what else? We each got a name badge, of course. This is mine. I couldn't find it. I put it somewhere safe, and I had to scramble around to find it this morning. This was my name tag, and so you got various ribbons for things that you'd achieved over the year. And you got pins to put on your trading pins. So every year we get trading pins. So there were a number of different ones. Louisa saying, when will we get the mini catalogue? So if you're a demonstrator, Louisa, you'll get yours, as you are. You'll get yours probably in a couple of weeks. And then customers, they'll be able to get theirs as soon as we can order them. So as demonstrators, we can order catalogues the 1st December, and then we can send them out to our customers then. But as a demonstrator, you'll get yours earlier. So anyway, oops, my little clip came off. But anyway, that's all the swag. I'm just going to put that somewhere so it's out of the way. All right, so let's talk about what I'm going to do today. So a couple of weeks ago, we had our Christmas card stamper stack, and one of my team, Kristen, she helped me with it, and we designed 6 cards each. And I thought I would show you 2 of the cards today, and they're using the Window Wishes bundle, which is this one right here. So here's the stamp set and the dies, and I love these. I call them scene builder stamp sets because there's many different things that you can do with them. And I actually made 2 different cards for the stamper stack, and I thought I would show you how you can get a completely different look with one stamp set. So let me show you the cards. So this is one of them, which has the cute little station wagon and a little scene. And then this is the other one. So you can see completely different look, but both really lovely cards, I think. Both lots of fun to make. So you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, that looks like a lot of work. We're going to be here all afternoon. But never fear. One of the nice things about the stamper stacks that we do is we want customers to be able to make lots of cards in a short period of time. So we do a lot of the prep ahead of time. So I'm going to grab my first stuff for my first card here. So we're going to do this one first. And I'm going to I'll put it up here maybe so that you can still see it. So everyone got kits. They went and picked their cards ahead of time. There were 12 cards to choose from. They picked how many they want to make. Some people made just 6. Some people made 15 or 20. One lady made 43. And you could pick whichever cards you like and how many you wanted to make of them. And we had little kits made up. So I've got all the bits and pieces in here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this is grey granite, and I've run it through with the, oh my gosh, what is this embossing folder called? Brick something or other. But anyway, I'm going to grab this embossing folder, and I'm going to grab my grid paper here so I don't make a mess. And I've got my craft, and actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this to my cardstock first, and you'll see why. So let's attach this. And this is just a basic white, thick basic white cardstock here, card base. So I'm going to attach this. And then, I don't know if you can see, but there's some kind of distressing on the embossing folder here. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to take my Whisper White. This is pigment ink. This is not dye ink like most of our inks. So I'm going to just open this, and then with this side, so the one away from the lid, this edge, I'm going to just drag it. It needs re-inking, I think, a little bit, but I'm just dragging it. Can you see how I'm getting that white? Hi, Diana, how are you? You can see I'm getting this kind of white distressed effect, and you can do it as much as you like, as much or as little you like. And the reason I thought I would stick it on here first is because it, being a pigment ink, it doesn't dry immediately. It takes, isn't that cool? I love how that looks. It takes a few minutes to dry. So what I thought I would do is if I stick it on there, then I can set it to one side. I don't have to touch it, and then we'll just let it dry. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp, do my stamping. So I'm going to stamp, I've got my stamper artist here, and so we had it all set up to make life very easy for our attendees. So I've got oops, some of it's stuck here. So what we had was what I did was I had a template, and someone stuck all this washi tape on to hold it in place. And then I had my wreath and candles lined up in the right spot so that they would stamp perfectly. And then I just die cut a bunch of little candles. Here's our candles. Stick it in there. And then I've got cherry cobbler ink. And I'm going to put my craft ink pad under the lid here. I find it easier, let's move that away for a second. I find it easier to set an ink pad under here to keep this lid flat. It makes it easier to stamp. Otherwise, if it's on an angle, you tend to get ink all over the plate. So I can ink that up and stamp, and that should stamp perfectly, which it did. Look at that. And then I'm going to stamp. I'm going to leave my cherry cobbler open because I'll need that again. And then the wreath I'm going to stamp in shaded spruce, and I did the same thing. So how I set this up initially was I put this piece of cardstock in here without it being die cut, just a plain piece of cardstock. I set my stamps on the stamper artist and stamped them, and then I left them where they were, and then I die cut the wreath and the candle. And then I put this template back in here. That way they would line, I knew they would line up perfectly when they were stamped. Hope that makes sense. So, and the nice thing is if you don't get good coverage the first time, oops, I need to put my wreath in, don't I? That would be helpful. Let's see, this is, you have to figure out how it lines up here. Let's see, looks like it should go like that. Yes. So let's stamp that. Yeah, if you don't get really good coverage the first time, you can put it back in. That looks good. See how perfect that stamps? So much easier than having to do all the stamping and die cutting. So I'm going to leave my shaded spruce open too. So I'm done with my Stamper Artist. So let me bring this back actually, because I do need to stamp the inside. So I'll just be careful not to get... Right, so the inside I did like this, with this beautiful bow, or what would you call that? Swag, maybe a swag, and then sentiment. So get this, ink it up, and then it'll just be a matter of, mostly a matter of assembling everything. I like when it's a big stamp like this to take the ink pad to it, because I can see exactly when it's inked up right. All right, so now let's see if I can stamp this correctly. I'm gonna hold it down for a few seconds with even pressure. There we go, that looks nice. And then I can close that one up. I'm not going to need that anymore. And then I'm going to do my sentiment with Cherry Cobbler. And this is from another stamp set, and I can't remember off the top of my head which one it's from, but I will list all the items that I used later. It might be a little bit later because I have to finish getting all my team packages out after this. But I will post all the items that I used. So there we go. Hoping your Christmas shines bright with the love of family and friends. So I thought that worked well with the candle. All right, that's all the stamping done for right now. So let's do the assembly. Assemblage. All right, so let me show you all the little pieces. So I've got the, let me zoom back in just a touch. So I've got I've got all the components to the window. So I'm going to stick the frame on first. So we'll use a little bit. I think I'll use some liquid glue for that. Just a little bit. I'm going to try and center it. Nice thing is I can use the lines of the bricks to kind of help me line up here. That looks pretty good. Oops, maybe. And I like the liquid glue because it does give me a little bit of time to kind of line stuff up here. Oh dear. All right, that looks good, I think. And then there's another little the window ledge. Do you call that the ledge or the sill? I call it a window sill, but I think here you call it a ledge, right? This is another part of the die set that just goes underneath. So we had all this stuff. I was regretting when I was preparing all these, this was quite a lot of work to prepare, to die cut everything. And I was thinking, what was I thinking? Now this designer series paper is from the Gnomes. It's got this one, this paper on the back, which is one of my favorites actually. But, and then it's going to have a layer of vellum over the top. So let's stick that in. That glue again. And that fits perfectly in there because it's being die cut from the same, using the same die. And then I'm going to stick this vellum piece in. Now, you need to just put vellum, be careful where you put glue, careful where you put it because adhesive shows through vellum. So what I'm going to do is actually on here, I'm just going to do a tiny bead of liquid glue around the edge, just a really thin one, just to hold that vellum in. Put that down, and then my window frame is going to go over the top, so that'll cover up hopefully that where it's kind of squished a bit will be covered up. It might show just so. I think it's going to be all right. And then and then I'll put a tiny bit again, oops, of glue onto this window frame. Don't need to cover every single part, just enough to keep it in place. And that goes in here, and it's very easy. It's a little, there's a few steps, but everything fits in here perfectly because it was all die cut using the same dies. So that's that. Then we need to do a little bit more delicate assembly. We've got our wreath, our candles, a bow, and we've got this little thing that looks like a crown, doesn't it? Doesn't that look like a crown? But it's actually goes behind. It's the candle flames. But you could use it as a crown. Candy says she'd have a gluey mess. Well, I often have a gluey mess too. And actually, I don't know if you saw my video a couple of weeks ago where I talked about some of my favorite crafty tools. Actually, this is where this little fine tip glue container would come really in handy, because it dispenses just a little amount at once. So that would be a good investment. So I'm going to put a tiny bit of glue just under here, a couple of dobs, and then let's bring in actually a silicone mat would be good here. Let's get a silicone mat, and that way if I get glue anywhere, it won't be on my counter. All right, so then we can just add these, and they just line up perfectly with that. All right, so let's leave that to dry a second. And there's one other little element I need to do on this. I need to stamp peace on a little scrap of paper. So I've got a little scrap here, and I need I'm going to do green for that, shaded spruce, as the candles are red. So I'm going to just type peace. Like that. And then I'm going to hand cut that in just a second. But let me put that to one side. Now I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of my wreath here. Oops, those are big dimensionals. Let me get some minis. I'll put a few. And then we're almost done. So once everything, so it's the prep for this card that takes a long time, but because that was all done for everybody, it was a fairly easy card to put together, actually. I'm thinking me prepping it took probably way longer than making it. Kind of like Thanksgiving dinner, right? You spend hours and hours prepping, and then it takes no time for people to eat it. That's kind of what it was like with this card. A long time to prep and not much time to make. Who's hosting Thanksgiving this year? Anybody? It's next week. It's just around the corner. I am actually hosting. I'm going to have about 20 20 or 22 or something people, because I'm having our family, our kids and their kids, partners, grandkids, and then my future daughter-in-law's family are coming too, so I'm going to be busy. So anyone else hosting? Okay, so the bow, this bow I'm just putting on with, I just put a glue dot on the back. And then I'm going to stick that onto the wreath, just about like that. And then let's get my candles, and I'll stick those on with dimensionals too. I can use the big ones on this, I think. What's everyone's favorite Thanksgiving dish? Stuffing, turkey, gravy, pecan, pumpkin pie. I had to learn to, this was all new to me when I moved here in 1987. So, of course, all the Thanksgiving recipes were new. And one that I just cannot come to terms with is the sweet potatoes with the marshmallows. I'm going to use my tweezers to put this on. That is just like dessert to me. I cannot handle marshmallows on a vegetable dish. I don't know. How about you? Are you a sweet potato with marshmallow fan? Ooh, isn't that pretty? All right, so the last thing I need to do, everyone's very quiet. Who's a sweet potato marshmallow, or candied yams, I guess, with marshmallows? Anybody? So this I'm just going to cut by hand. It's because it's small. So I'm just going to trim off Louisa says yes. You like sweet potatoes with candied yams. I mean sweet potatoes with marshmallows. I don't know, that was just, oops, let's straighten that up a little bit. So, oh, that's close enough. Then I'm just going to put a little, in fact, I think I'm just going to put a little dab of glue on here. And that will be less messy. And then I can just pick that up, put it on. I think again I'll use my tweezers. And just put that on like that. I can... Hi, Chris. I'm not done. I got another card to go, Chris Hunter, so you can stay. Not done yet. So that's the first card. What do you think? Pretty, isn't it? The inside. All right, now let's do the other one. So I'm going to grab my other box here. So this is the other one we're going to do. Let's put everything away. All right, so let me grab, oops, I forgot to grab my envelope for that. Just a second. All right, so here's my envelope. All my bits and pieces. So as you can see, again, everything is pretty much done. So I need this little, for stamping, I need this, and this, and this. So I'm going to stamp, let's get this foam mat. So I'm going to stamp my sentiment on here, my Merry Christmas. So let me grab that. And again, this is from a different stamp set, and I can't remember which one, but I will let you know. There's a couple of really nice stamp sets that came out in this mini that are just sentiments, and it's from one of those, but I forget the name. And I love the font on this. It's so pretty. I'm using it a lot. So I'm going to try and get this. I'm going to stand up here, straight along the bottom. Ooh, pretty good. Thought I was going to get it crooked. And then let's see, what else do I need to do? What did I do inside? Oh, let's do the inside because that's Night of Navy also. And this stamp is from this stamp set, I believe. This one says, "May happy moments and wonderful memories be yours this season." So I thought that went well with the kind of the house and the car and the whole scene. So I'm going to do that like that. There we go. So that's Night of Navy. That's all I need that for. And I'm going to do my tree. Hi, Christine. Joining you from Leeds Castle. That's nice. So my sister and my brother-in-law are on a bit of a vacation, and they're staying in the grounds of this beautiful castle in England, close to where they used to live. It's called Leeds Castle. It's very beautiful. So how nice. All right, so let's do the tree. And I'm actually going to bring back in this grid paper because I don't want to get ink on the foam because it doesn't dry. So we'll do this tree kind of like this. And then I'll grab my balmy blue. It's a good idea, if you're using a basic white cardstock like this, it's a really good idea to stamp the inside first, because then if you mess up, you can grab another card base, or you can, figure out how you're going to fix it. There's nothing worse than getting the front of the card done, everything assembled and the front all stuck on, and then you mess up on the inside. So it's a really good idea to do the inside first, and then you can just kind of doing some little random snowflakes here. I think that's good. There we go. That way, now my inside's done. I don't have to stress about that. I'll put that to one side. All right, so let's stamp this little scene. Oh, my ink's open still here. So how I did this was I took my blue piece here, balmy blue, that's embossed, and I set this along the bottom. Santa's car. Possibly it is red, but it's just the proverbial American station wagon, I think, actually. So anyway, so how I did this is I set this kind of where I thought I wanted it, and then I took a pencil and then I just kind of drew a line. Oop. Across here. Well, you can't see probably, but a faint line, that way I kind of knew where to position my house. And then we'll just stamp the little scene. So I'm going to do my tree, kind of off to one side a little bit, just like that. And then I'm going to do my house. Now the house has two parts to it. It's got a roof and the house part. So I'm going to stamp the house in blue. And then, so I'm going to kind of line it up. You can see the bottom of the house is sloping, like it's designed to be on a slope. So I'm going to kind of line it up somewhat on that pencil line, like that. Oops, that didn't stamp very well, but that's all right. It'll smooth out a little bit actually as it dries. And I'm going to take this stamp off and put my roof on and do this in soft suede. Now it's a little bit tricky to line up. What I had people do when they came to the class was I had them practice on their grid paper a few times so they could practice kind of lining up. But we'll see how we do here. Not too bad, is it? Let's put this back on here so I don't lose it. All right, what else? What else? Snowflakes. It's not very many colours, really. I have, I think, 4 colours that I'm using on this card, so not too bad. Oh, and I need to stamp the little car. So I'll do a few more snowflakes dotted around. I know this is kind of backwards. The background should be blue and the snowflakes white, right? But this is artist license or whatever they call it. There we go, snowflakes. All right, then I'll just stamp the car. My red, and I got a little scrap here. But yeah, very fun, a fun stamp set, because you can make lots of different scenes. So let's stamp my car. All right, so I think that is all. Oh, the only other thing I need to do, where's that bottom piece, is I've got kind of like a little slope, a little, I don't know what that is, but let me just do that. Let's see, balmy blue. And there's a little stamp it looks like this. It's a little tiny stamp, and I just stamped it. It's curved. I just stamped it one way and then flipped it over and stamped it the other. Kind of where my car's going to go. One lady, she did hers a bit crooked, and her car was like pointing down, like it was driving off the edge of a cliff or something. So then, yeah, just flip it over and do it the other way. Then you get kind of that slope. All right, put away the stamps. Put away my ink. Oops, my trash can fell off my desk, but that's all right. And then it's just assembly. So let's bring in all the pieces. All right, got my little tree. All right. Okay, so the first thing is to put our blue piece on. Here's my tape. Is this your first time watching, Alistair? Is he still watching? That's my nephew, who's with my sister. Is this your first time watching one of my Facebook Lives? Probably is. I'll put this on. And then I'm going to put this on. Now I'm going to put it on with dimensionals, but I'm going to not put them right here so that I can slip my little circle. So the circle was die cut from the Stylish Frames die cut. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? Got an idea. Let's try this. Let's take off the backings off this. Oops. When I've had a class at my house, these little backings to dimensionals are everywhere. My husband complains about them because you find these little white backings everywhere, and sometimes Tally has them on her nose because she'll sniff one and on the floor, and then they're kind of staticky. So she'll be walking around with one on her nose. It's funny. Oh, so what I was going to do was I was going to put another one there and not take the backing off, but I got chatting and I forgot, but that's all right. So then this is going to slide in here like this. I'm just going to put some liquid glue on that. So those of you that are familiar with my dog Tally, who you often hear barking, I was walking her last week, and the day before I was leaving for Anaheim, and she got attacked by a dog in the neighborhood, and she got her leg bitten. So I had to take her to the vet, and oh my goodness, poor thing, but she's doing all right. She's kind of traumatized though. You can tell she's kind of anxious. But it was a bit crazy last week, trying to get ready to go, and then that happened. What I'm going to do, you see how I'm going to try something. You see how that house didn't stamp that great. I'm going to take my blender pen, one of my blender pens. These are just filled with some blendable liquid, and I'm going to see if I can, I think it might be too dry. I was going to see if I could blend it a bit. It's not really helping. Well, maybe it is a little bit. I think the ink is too dry. I should have done it when I first. Well, I think it helped a little bit. Anyway, so yes, poor Tally was in the wars, but it wasn't too bad. And the poor guy with the dog, it was a little Frenchie. And I'm just putting some glue on these trees, and I'm going to stick these in. He was mortified. He had rescued the dog 3 months ago, and he knew it was aggressive, but he'd been working with it, and he was very upset. So let's see if I can use my tweezers to stick. So this just gets kind of poked in down here, wherever you like, really. Just poke that in under the slope, and these come in the dies also. And you can stamp them, and you can stamp them and die cut, but I'm going to use tweezers. I'm just going to use my hands. I just thought I thought they looked nice, just die cut from the cardstock and not actually stamped. Right, the last thing we've got to do is the little car. Now there's a die for this, but I'm going to just fussy cut it really quick because I'm too lazy to go get the die. So did any of you have a station wagon growing up? We call it, in England, we call it an estate car. What do we call a sedan? I can't remember Christine, what do we call a sedan car? I can't remember. But we call a station wagon an estate car. I don't know why. So I'm kind of off screen, sorry, but I'm just cutting out where the little wheels go. A saloon, that's right. That's funny, isn't it? Because a saloon here means something completely different. It's like something from the Wild West. All right, so there's the little car, and then kind of like the little flames on the candle, there's a little, let's get my silicone mat again. There's a little wheels that you can stick on. So let me put a little tiny bit of glue on here. A pub. Yes, the saloon is like a pub, what we'd call a pub. We have a saloon bar though, don't we, in the pubs? All right, so there's the cute little car. And then I've got a little, it didn't work great, but I have this silver pen, and I coloured the center, just to give it doesn't show up very well on camera, just for the hubcaps. So there's you can see a little bit, the little silver. All right, so we just have to stick that on. And let's see, did I use dimensionals? I didn't, I just stuck that on with some glue. Let's do that. So a completely different look from the other card. I'll bring back in the other one just a second. So let's see, let's stick this kind of like it's on the road here. And let's put on a few little rhinestones just for a finishing touch. Right, so let's see. I don't have my take your pick tool handy, but I'll just use my scissors. I'll just copy what I did on here. Oops. One of the demonstrators, we had lots of demonstrators that did presentations with the new products. One of them said, always do a triangle and 2 close together and 1 further away. And I thought, oh, that's what I do. Obviously doing the right thing. Right, so let's put this one just down here. But this is where I get stressed. It's like, where to put the last one? I'm just going to put it in right there like that. This one, I put it there. All right, so that's those two. Let me bring in the other ones. Actually, I'll just put one away, just show you one of them so they fit in the screen. So what do you think? Let me show you the stamp set one more time. I think I used most of the stamps. Let's see. I didn't use all the sentiments, but I used almost everything else. And you see there's the stamp for the trees that I didn't use. But I used nearly everything, didn't I, on the 2 of them. And then the dies. And so you've got one piece for the window frame here, and then this piece that cuts out the different, you know, the window panes and the wreath. And yeah, so I didn't use quite all of these, but most of them. So anyway, a very lovely set with lots of opportunities. So I hope you like that. So I'll post everything that I used afterwards. Like I say, it might be a little bit later because having been gone for the weekend, I'm working on my team packets for our team meeting next week, and I need to get them in the mail this afternoon. So once I've dropped those off at the post office, I will work on adding my list to the to the posts. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Next week, next week will be the day before Thanksgiving. So I will tell you how my plans are going for my big Thanksgiving dinner here, and and then I'll catch up on how your Thanksgiving plans are going too. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of the week, and I will see you all soon. Bye for now.